Okay, guys, so this is my race talk series. Hashtag RACETALKFF on Instagram. I started it last January. And with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter blowing up, I've been getting a lot of messages and DMs and all of those things. So I'm just making some videos to address some of the questions I've been getting a lot. So one of the big things that's a topic in churches especially is this idea of critical race theory. I am not an expert on it, so I do need to do more research. I've read a couple articles. Um, Mostly I've seen it used to, I've seen people um, say that it's not real, so therefore your experiences don't matter. And that I think is an abuse of it, an abuse of disagreeing with it, I guess. I don't know. But critical race theory is a critical theory, has to do with different layers of oppression and intersectionality, which is different groups that fit into more than one of these layers. And so there are things that make people more or less oppressed, and based on that, it talks about who should be given, who needs to have more, like, who do we need to intentionally listen to more. And so I think there's aspects that I disagree with it, especially the implications as you go farther. Um, and I think economics is left off of that. And I think I don't think poverty is included in there, which it really, really should be. But that being said, there's also like the Christian response is what most of you guys have been interested in. And I am by no means an expert. I am less critical of critical theory than I think a lot of Christians are. But I am also not a scholar. Like, I am not professionally studying this. I have not written papers on it. I have not been paid to teach about it, whatever. Where I think it is good is that, yes, our experiences are not everything. Experience does not equal truth. Experiences are anecdotal, obviously. Story, but I do think stories are so important. Stories are how we build empathy. Stories are how we relate to people. Stories are how we express what matters to us. I mean, we see this in the Bible. Jesus told stories. Like, stories are important because they're powerful, and there's a reason for that. And so I think critical race theory does help with explaining like how stories and experiences matter. And I think my experiences as a Black woman have been I've been told many times, like, oh, that's not true, oh, that doesn't matter, oh, that doesn't really happen, by like people who don't know. And oftentimes those people do fit into the Christian white male. Those are the groups that tend to do these things to the other groups. Um and so, like, and that, and I'm not, I think, and it doesn't have to be that. I mean, like, I've had white women tell me things that I'm like, no, this really is happening. I've had Black women tell me things I'm like, you don't really get to tell me that. Like, and so, like, yes, it does. It's not exclusive. I can do something terrible and wrong even though I'm a Black woman, right? Like, it it doesn't. I think it's when it's the end all be all. I think that's too much. And when you demand that anybody who's not those groups is in the wrong all the time by default, I disagree with that. We have what's the word I'm looking for? We have the ability to make our own decisions and to do things well or poorly. I think too, some people take critical race theory as more of a theology or a worldview. I don't think that the Christian framework fits into that worldview, but I think that's true with any other philosophy or belief system as well, that we study and use as a tool for communicating situations and communicating experiences. So I think critical race theory is a great tool. I don't think that it can replace the gospel. I think people talk about that. I'm like, that's not even what's happening here. But I do see a lot of part of why I've been avoiding researching it is I've seen a lot of Christians use their opposition to critical race theory as a way to criticize Black people's stories. And that's, if you've listened to my other videos, I am absolutely appalled when people are just constantly telling you that your experiences don't matter, because they do. And I know that experience isn't everything. I know that. I don't believe that it is. But experience is important, and it does exist. And people can have very different experiences than other people. So I hope that's helpful. These are kind of just rambling, me sharing my thoughts because people keep asking, and I've shared them like 50 times. And so I'm just making videos that, yeah, anyways.